noticed.
All right, and a pleasant good morning to you from Tony'sPicks.com. This is Ramon Scott, and welcome here into Night Moves for Wednesday, November 19th. We've got a fun night of action planned here on Night Moves. Going to look at the Wednesday card here, NBA, NHL, college basketball, and a little action here for you after a fun night of action on Tuesday night. I just got done, I'll say a short time ago, watching a double overtime game with San Diego State. They lost to Troy tonight, but a fun game. Miles Bird had a buzzer beater, a half-court buzzer beater to send the game into overtime, but San Diego State ended up losing to Troy. Good job by the Trojans to get that win. They were a significant underdog and were able to take down San Diego State. So San Diego State's got some work to do. They look pretty good. They got their big star back tonight, but it wasn't enough wearing their turquoise Native American jerseys, and they lose to Troy tonight. But that was a fun one and a fun night of college basketball, including those games in the Champions Classic here on Tuesday night. We did have a few winners here on Night Moves. We had Michigan State and Kentucky game to go under, and then we had the Kansas and Duke game to go under. We went under in both and won them both on Tuesday night in college basketball, and also brought you some other winners as well. We had Rhode Island here on the show last night. We also gave you Wichita State and Boise game to go under yesterday as well. So thought we had a few nice plays here on Night Moves in college basketball. And how about we swept the board actually here? We had some winner right here. College football. First, let me get to college football, where we had the winner here on Night Moves with Akron in their game against Bowling Green. We gave you the Zips here in that one. And a fun night in the NBA. Wow. Let's talk about some of those games that went down on Tuesday night. Saw Orlando take care of business there against Golden State. Good performance for Orlando there, 121 to 113. It was Boston drubbing the Nets there as well. We had the winner with Orlando, by the way, here on the show, but also we had Memphis and San Antonio, that game to go under, and it did there yesterday. San Antonio finished the game off with, I think, either a 10-0 or 11-0 run to close out Memphis, actually, in that one without Wemby there. Also, it was Atlanta losing to Detroit, 120 to 113. Big news, LeBron James returned. Hey, we'd been talking for days about his return, but I wasn't sure about the return. I wasn't talking about it last night. We were a little bit ahead of the curve saying, hey, we think LeBron here could come back before Thanksgiving, and he indeed did. Finished with 11 points last night, and the Lakers crushed Utah 140 to 127. We did have the Lakers here minus 12 points, and they got it done there last night. Might have finished 13 for some people. So Lakers, though, get the win there with LeBron. back in the lineup. And then Phoenix beat Portland late night for the winner there. All right. Say hello to some folks in the chat. We're going to talk sports and sports betting here with you on Night Moves. Jerry Jones, he had the Jaguars over there. Man, they felt like maybe they were trying to get back to normal, but no, they went well over in their win there or in their game tonight. I think they ended up losing that one. Did IU, Indy, and Richard Lockhart. Hello. He said he had Western Michigan there in the MAC last night. Also, some NHL action last night here as well. There was a pretty big card of action on the ice. We were able to bring home a few winners here from Night Moves on Tuesday night, since we did have the Islanders there on the road against the Dallas Stars. The Islanders get the 3-2 win. Only 2 overtime games, I guess. On talked about the overtime games having gone. If you just took overtime all season long, you're up 50 units this season. Just 2 overtime games on Tuesday night, but lots of close games. Certainly there. Another rash of 1-goal games. In fact, strangely enough, 4 games finished 3-2. Maybe we need to go for the exact score line on some of these games. Anyway, we did bring also a winner on the Chicago Blackhawks yesterday, and we had the San Jose Sharks as an underdog as well. All right, no time to waste here. We get right to the action. We got a huge NBA card to kick things off on Wednesday, and we get right into it. You guys can comment in the chat if you'd like on the game that I'm speaking of. I'd like to show your pick on the screen here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel. And we'll talk a little pro basketball to start the show. Thank you for joining me on Night Moves. All right, start off here right now with the Charlotte Hornets on the road taking on the Indiana Pacers here in this one. You got the Hornets on the road right now, favorite. They're 4-10 coming in, but they're going to be favored, of course, against the Indiana Pacers. Right now, the Pacers are almost heading for some historic lows, if you will, with some of these scores right now. The consecutive games by losing by 15 points or more continued in that last game against Detroit there last night as Indiana's on the back-to-back. But, man, they're getting blown out of every game right now and not even really coming close. It's almost worrisome here at this point. Guess they'll improve eventually going up against a Hornets team here that may have enough motivation, and they're actually a favorite on the road at -2. The Hornets covered in their only other time favored this season, so maybe they can get it done here in this one against Indiana, who's covered just 2 of their last 8 games overall. Give Indiana some credit here. They are 3-3 against the spread at home this season. They are 5-7 as an underdog. Their 1 win did come at home, but they're 1-13 right now, and no end in sight here right now for the Pacers. The way it's going as they get ready to take on the Hornets here. Indiana's lost now 8 games in a row. They failed to cover in 7 straight. Charlotte ain't much better. They've lost 5 straight on the road. They're 1-6 in their last 7 overall. 8 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams have gone, Charlotte's gone under in 8 of their last 10 games overall. Also, Indiana's gone under in 9 of their last 13 games. Who could pick a winner in this game? I'm going to take the under with Charlotte and Indiana here on Night Moves. Maybe one of these teams will win, I guess. Charlotte is 4-1 against the spread their last 5 games against Indiana, so maybe that could be the tiebreaker in it all. And the fact that the Pacers aren't coming close. It's just that you'd think somewhere along the line they're going to win here against somebody, and maybe it'll be against the Hornets in a closely rated game. But right now the Pacers, kind of a historic run here as far as poor play and not covering the spreads. All right, I think let's see here. I think this is going to be a play here on Charlotte for Jerry. I think he's saying take them in the first half. Thank you, Jerry. Good to have you here tonight. All right, next up, the Raptors are on the road taking on the Sixers here. A pretty decent game here, actually, with the Raptors on the road. They are a road favorite here, -1. Is that right? I think it's a little higher than that, isn't it? Check it out. The line here live. Check it. Check out this line here. No, it is a 1.5 here right now for Toronto, and the total 235.5 here in this one. Toronto comes in here on a 4-game winning streak. They really turned things around. Yeah, they were slow to start, but now they've kicked it in gear here. 9-5 record overall, taking on the Sixers here, who are 8-5. They've been alternating wins and losses here of late. Have the 76ers, but for the Raptors here, they come in with a record of 5-4 ATS on the road. But Philadelphia is the team that's been getting the money for the most part, game in and game out. They are 6-1-1 as an underdog this season, although to be fair, some books are starting to move them either close to a pick 'em. I'm even seeing one offshore book has the Sixers -1 in this one. So still hot ball game here. You have Philadelphia is 9-3-1 against the spread overall. If anything, they've been the better spread team, 5-2 against the spread at home coming in. For Toronto here, they've gone 8-1 in their last 9 games overall. They've covered the spread against Philadelphia in 4 of the last 5 meetings between the two teams, but Philadelphia is still pretty hot here, 5-1 ATS. Their last 6 games at home, 6 of the last 7 meetings between the two teams have gone over. I'm going to take Philly to win this one over Toronto here on Wednesday night. Give me the Sixers here. No Joel Embiid, no problem. Oubre, though, is out of this game. Paul George is also out, but I'm not going to fret about him. Would like to have Oubre in there, but I'm going to still take Philadelphia in this one over Toronto on Wednesday night. Give me the Sixers. All right, and we'll keep it moving here on Night Moves with our next matchup. The Golden State Warriors are on the road taking on the Miami Heat. The Heat are on the the Warriors are on the back-to-back here, having played Orlando last night. Played them pretty tough, but eventually Orlando continued on for that 121-113 victory, snapping the Warriors' 3-game losing streak. Now, they could be pacing themselves a little bit here for a matchup against the Heat, but I don't know if either of the two teams would make any necessary motivation. In fact, the Warriors, they kind of have a chip on their shoulder when it comes to playing the Orlando Magic. Things got a little hot there last night between those two teams, and you have a Miami team here that's one of the best teams at home so far this season. They're 6-1 ATS at home, 3-1 ATS is a favorite. Meanwhile, the Warriors are 4-7 against the spread as an underdog. So it does feel like the Heat are in the best position here, maybe to get this cover. They've done a good job against them here last year. They beat them 112-86 in a meeting back in March here, and Miami also won the meeting last year in Golden State. So Miami's certainly playing well enough. We keep saying how we are on this team right now this season. It's been a pretty good run with the Heat. They're off of a victory also last night over the Knicks, 115-1. 2 nights ago, I should say, right? 115-113 in revenge there. So I think the Heat going to grab this one again. I want to take the Heat here. Looking pretty strong, 9-4-1 ATS overall. Golden State 9-7 overall. 5 straight meetings between these two teams have gone under However, Miami's gone over in 4 of their last 5. Golden State's gone over in 4 of their last 5. Golden State's 9-2 to the over on the road this season. They kind of mail it in, if you know what I mean. So in this one, though, I'm going to go ahead and take the Heat at home and lay 6.5. All right. Next up, another good game here when the Rockets take on the Cavaliers on Wednesday. The Rockets come in here with a 4-game winning streak, 9-3 overall. Here come those Rockets. They've been on the steady incline here this season. Cleveland comes in here with a 10-5 record. They've won 2 straight right now and does feel like they're kind of rounding into their best form. They really haven't been that strong so far this season numbers spread wise. Cleveland's just 5-10 against the spread overall, 2-6 against the spread at home. Meanwhile, Houston, one of the best spread teams on the road, going 5-1 so far this season. Now, this is only the second time the Cavaliers have been an underdog this season, and they did cover in the first meeting. In fact, they won in the first game they were favored. In fact, they won that game. But Houston here really covering some numbers on the road with that 5-1 road mark. So see if you have anything here in this one. Houston has gone over in 6 straight. They've also gone over in 5 straight on the road. Cleveland's gone over in 6 of their last 8 games. Overall, Cleveland went over in that one game. They were an underdog. Houston's 6-0 to the over on the road this season, and they're 9-2 to the over as a favorite. I'm going to take the over here, actually, in this one with Houston and Cleveland. Houston might be in a position to put up some numbers here, maybe a good number. Now, Houston did fail last time out to Orlando, although, like I said, they did win for their 4th win in a row, but they did not cover 7.5, snapping a 3-game cover streak. Meanwhile, for Cleveland, they come in here off of a 118-106 victory over Milwaukee, a game which saw Giannis Antetokounmpo leave, and then from that point, it was kind of all Cleveland there. So for Houston, Jabari Smith is questionable here in this one, and for Cleveland, Sam Merrill's questionable. He's coming off a 20-point performance there, I believe, in that last game against Milwaukee. He was kind of the star of the game there, but Jalen Tyson is out. Darius Garland is out as well. In this one, I'm going to still take the Cavs here. I'm sorry, I'm going to take the over here with Houston and Cleveland. I'm on the over. Make no mistake. All right, the Sacramento Kings are going to take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Another one of those these NBA games where one team can't win, one team can't lose. That would be the Oklahoma City Thunder here. They're on a winning streak, and Sacramento's having some issues here. Home, away, doesn't matter. Sacramento's struggling here right now with a 6-game losing streak. Oklahoma City's won 6 in a row. Sacramento's also gone just 1-6 in their last 7 games against Oklahoma City. One of those situations where can you stomach it here with the Thunder, an 18.5 point favorite? Still, it doesn't seem to matter right now in some of these Thunder games, but maybe it does. Last 2 games, they've failed to cover 17.5 and 18.5 against Charlotte and New Orleans, respectively. I'm not going to say that this game looks exactly like those because this one's at home, and those were on the road. So, look, I'm trying to pick a winner here or there with these 2 teams. Sacramento's 4-10, ATS 3-8 against the spread on the road. And quite frankly, they don't fare very well against this team. I'm going to go ahead and try to lay this here. We make a pick on every game on Night Moves, so I'm not going to go to the total here. I'm going to try to take Oklahoma City here to win it by 20 points probably here tonight. Give me the Thunder to kind of keep this one going. Yes, will the players, exit the game midway through the 4th quarter? They might here, but Oklahoma City still on a roll, and they haven't covered the big big spreads in the teens here of late. But Sacramento, I mean, not only are they 0-6 straight up, but they're 0-6 against the spread. So maybe they will get it up there high enough to consider it. But I got to think for now, until I see a cover, I'm going to take the Thunder. All right, the Washington Wizards are going to take on the Minnesota Timberwolves here in this one on Wednesday night. Same thing here, right? You got Washington here just 1-12 right now. Minnesota in a good run here. They did lose a couple of nights ago to Denver at home. Got kind of blown out, but they bounced back with a home win against Dallas. They're on a little bit of a homestand here for the fourth game in a row. And I don't know, could they be a little bit complacent here in this particular role? Now, they did just cover 14.5 against the Mavericks. They also covered 11.5 against the Kings here at home. This one is a little bit higher right now. And there is this, for whatever reason, this is like Washington's best matchup. And look, this is probably a Washington team that is probably even worse than the last few iterations. But for Minnesota, they're probably pretty much the same team kind of as they've been here of late. They're 9-5 right now, and a pretty good run, having won 5 of their last 6 and covered 6 of their last 9. Meanwhile, Washington's 2-11 against the spread, 2-9 against the spread as a dog. But you know what? They've covered 10 of the last 11 games against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, they only meet just twice a year. I understand that. But it does feel like when you see something like that, where a team like Washington coming in on a 10-game losing streak, but they have just one particular matchup that seems to suit them well, maybe they can get this money here against the Minnesota Timberwolves plus 16.5 points. I'm going to take them. I'm going to take the Washington Wizards here and figure this is the type of matchup that they will be able to get the money here. They're not going to win. We know that. But you're looking for spots here where you can't continue to lay the heavy wood like that, can you? And give them credit. 10-1. Like I said, Washington's not any better than they were the last, I guess that would be a 5.5 year sample size, but they've been the same team for the last 5 years. Bad, right? And Minnesota, they've been above average, not able to get over the hump playoff wise. But I'm going to go ahead and try the Wizards here plus the points. 12 of the last 15 meetings between the two have gone over. And again, I put certainly less emphasis on the head-to-head matchups when you're talking about interconference games. But you know what? Sometimes I actually do use that trend, for a last confirmation anyway. Like I said, I can't make any excuses here for Washington. They did cover a game, a couple of games. They covered against Detroit on the road in a 137-135 loss, getting 11. They just played Brooklyn, got blown out the other night, 129-108. So that doesn't necessarily bode well because Brooklyn's pretty bad too. So I'm going to go ahead though and try Washington here in this one. All right, the Denver Nuggets are on the road here, taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. Man, the haves and have-nots in the NBA this season, right? It almost seems we've been talking about last few years. It seemed like the gap has grown and grown, and it seems like it's even worse this year with the good teams and the bad. Here comes the New Orleans team that's 2-12 here and having trouble getting their star player even on the court here right now with Zion Williamson. He's going to be on the injured list here again coming into this one with a hamstring issue. He's only played 5 games all season. You might as well not even talk about him if he's not in there. But when he is in there, he averages 23 points a game and 7 rebounds. So Denver, pretty clean injury report. Christian Brown is out of this game with a turned ankle. Right now, Sadiq Bey also an ankle turn. He's questionable here in this one. And Matkovich is out for New Orleans here. Denver has been in a pretty good run here, winning games and covering spreads. They did fail last time out to Chicago, 130 to 127 in that wild game at home that the Bulls actually won. Remember, the Bulls are coming in off the Utah to Denver off of a double overtime or whatever. They still came through, but Denver is 9-3 against the spread as a favorite this season. And New Orleans just 5-7 ATS as an underdog. New Orleans is on a big time losing streak as well. Coming into this one, they've actually lost their last 6 in a row, and they're actually 1-9 against the spread, uh, straight up, dating back to last season right now. So nothing's going right for this franchise here. Uh, Denver has gone over in 8 of 13 games as an underdog here. 13 of the last 20 matchups between these two teams have gone under. I'm going to take the Nuggets here to win this one and cover with this bad streak here for New Orleans of not only not winning, but not really covering as well. They did cover the 18 against Oklahoma City last time out at home 2 nights ago, 126 to 109. They were getting 18.5. They also own a home cover against Portland, getting 8.5 in an 8-point loss 4 games ago, but they lost to the Lakers and lost to the Warriors, did not cover. This is the 5th straight home game for the Pelicans, and they do have some covers here for sure, covering 6 of their last 10, but I'm going to go ahead and take the Nuggets here in this one. Hey, there's Kenny Moe in the chat. Great to see you, Kenny. He likes the Nuggets to bounce back and cover in this one. Thank you, Kenny. Thanks for stopping by tonight. All right, the New York Knicks are going to take on the Dallas Mavericks here, with the Knicks coming in 8-5 in this one. Dallas, meanwhile, comes in 4-11. They might be slightly better than those weak teams, but not by much. Dallas does come in here off of a loss at Minnesota, 128 to 96. They were getting 14.5. They beat Portland before that. 138 to 133 is a 3-point dog. The Knicks are 8-5 ATS this year and 0-4 against the spread on the road. Ironically enough, that almost might make it enough to put me on the dog here in this one. But I might look to the total actually, where the Knicks have gone 8-2 to the over in their last 10 games overall. They've gone over in 5 of their last 6. 5 straight meetings between these two teams in interconference play have gone over here. That's where I'm going to go at over 228.5 here in this one. Dallas has also gone over in 4 of their last 5, even though they're 6-9 to the under this season. It kind of shows that maybe the last few games probably not great defense, but maybe they've turned it up here a little bit. They only scored 96 points last game, but they gave up 133 to Portland. They gave up 133 to the Clippers. They gave up 123 to Phoenix. So I got to take the over in this one with the Knicks and the Mavs on Wednesday. All right. Kenny Moe says, man, Dallas is going to need Kyrie back soon the way they're going. He also says he'll take the over in this one with me. Boy, we're whipping through here, and I've got just one more game to look at in the NBA here on Wednesday night, and it's going to be the Bulls on the road taking on the Blazers here. Blazers come in 6-7. They're on a 3-game losing streak right now. Meanwhile, Chicago, they erased that great start with a losing streak, but they did bounce back last time for a win to improve to 7-6. They were able to knock off Denver 130 to 127 as a 12.5-point underdog in that one. Chicago comes in here 2-point favorite in the total, 243.5. They're definitely not 3.5 anymore. Let me update that one here on night moves. Um, yeah, might be able to call it 2.5, but it looks like a 2 nonetheless. Maybe the move is on Portland here. Portland is 5-2 as an underdog so far this season. Meanwhile, Chicago's 1-2-1 as a favorite so far this season. These two teams are a combined 20-7 to the over here this season. Both teams have gone over in 8 of their last 10. Portland's 5-1 to the over at home. Meanwhile, Chicago, a favorite for just the fifth time this season, they are 3-1 to the over as a favorite here. Chicago's gone over in 5 straight games. Portland's gone over in 7 of their last 8 and 5 of their last 6 at home. I got to go with the over in this one, even at 243. Give me the over here with Chicago and Portland. See some great play right now from Sharp of Portland, really putting up some points. And I'm going to go over here with these two. Give me the over on Wednesday night, the game between the Bulls and the Trailblazers. All right, and Kenny Moe says Bulls an easy cover back when these two teams met. Back, let's see, what does he say? Bulls easy cover. Yeah, they haven't played this year, right? Bulls easy cover without Blazers point guard Holiday. Thank you, got it. And Blazers on the back-to-back, as we mentioned here, with the action there last night. Blazers in that loss to the Suns. All right, that's a look at the NBA here on Night Moves. Man, we moved through that 9-game card rather swiftly. Let's head out to the MAC, shall we? And take a look at the MACtion here. For Wednesday night, 2 games in the MAC. We saw a couple of top teams playing there last night, but we didn't see what we got here on Wednesday night. First up, Miami of Ohio will take on Buffalo here. Buffalo comes in 4-2. Western Michigan leading at 6-1. Ohio's 5-2. So Buffalo certainly can still stay alive here and try to get to the championship game as they take on Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio also 4-2. This looms is a pretty huge game right now. It feels like in the MAC here on Wednesday night. Miami of Ohio comes in 5-5 overall, as Buffalo also coming in here with a 5-5 overall record. Miami of Ohio, though, favored on the road, despite the fact that they've lost the last 2 games to Ohio and to Toledo. They were underdogs in both of those games. Miami of Ohio is 5-0 as a favorite so far this season. They did earn favoritism here. Buffalo started as the favorite. Now Miami of Ohio is the favorite. So the move is clearly on Miami here. For Buffalo, they are missing a pair of wide receivers, Bobby Mays, Dwayne Early Jr. Both of those guys are out. Meanwhile, Miami of Ohio, of course, did lose their quarterback, DeQuan Finn, coming into this game. But, man, Miami of Ohio has been playing strong this year. The move, though, it feels like Buffalo could be a live dog here with the injury news, but man, tough to ignore the fact that Buffalo's 3-7 against the spread right now, 1-4 against the spread at home so far this season. So, real interesting game, important game here in the MAC standings. All right, if you guys want to comment, that's you can, but I'm going to go ahead and make my call here in this one between Miami of Ohio and Buffalo. Miami of Ohio has covered 6 of the last 9 meetings between these two teams coming in. 13 of the last 19 meetings between the two teams have gone over. Buffalo's gone over in 13 of their last 20, dating back to last season. the teams did not meet last season, but they have alternated wins and losses for the last 5 years here. So, all right, can't uh, delay it any longer here in this one between Miami of Ohio and Buffalo. Like I said, I really like the way the trend's set up, but it feels like the experts are kind of on Buffalo here at home, and I'm going to have to take them, despite the fact that all those um, spread records here kind of favor Miami of Ohio for sure. Hard to ignore 5-0 as a favorite on the road, and the fact that that basically the line has totally shifted here to Miami of Ohio here, despite the fact that DeQuan Finn here is out here at this time for Miami of Ohio. So. Uh, I don't know if it was more of an injury or if he, basically quit the team. That was what the rumor was anyway. We know he's been around forever here, and I don't know if he feels like he's got, a pro football future here right now. The former Detroit native out of King High, so he's been around certainly, but right now they're going to have to move on from DeQuan. Coach Martin said he's going to have to move on. They had a good year with him, but just hasn't really worked out. So not sure why the move has come in like it has. I'll just take Buffalo here on Wednesday night. Give me the Bulls. All right, and let's see here. Kenny Moe says Miami will bounce back here in this one, and he likes the over as well. All right, the Central Michigan Chippewas take on Kent State Golden Flashes here on Wednesday night. Central Michigan on the road, 8-point favorite here in this one. In fact, maybe it's even gone up to 8.5 here. I'm seeing a 9, even off short a few books, so it's got to be at least 8.5 right now with Central Michigan on the road here, favored at lowly Kent. I'll say it. Kent comes in here with a 4-6 record at least. They've been alternating wins and losses over the last few games. They come in here off of a win over Akron, 42-35 as a 7.5-point dog. They got the money, but before that they lost to Ball. They beat Bowling Green, lost to Toledo. They beat UMass. Who doesn't? Saw the game there. UMass got the money there on Tuesday night. And that one, maybe that rain really helped them. Actually brought a little volatility in that one. Central Michigan comes in here 4-1 against the spread as a favorite, but Kent is 3-1 against the spread as an underdog. Central Michigan is 4-1 to the over this season as a favorite, although Kent is 1-3 to the under as an underdog coming in. Central Michigan's covered 6 of their last 7 games overall. They've also gone over in 4 of their last 5 coming in. Kent and Central Michigan have gone over in 6 straight meetings between the two teams, including the last one, but they actually haven't met here in 4 years. 4 years despite being conference foes. I'm going to take the over in this one actually and go over 49 with Central Michigan and Kent State. Give me the over in this one. All right, that's going to do it for the 2 games in the MAC on Wednesday night. We've got a 4-game NHL card here to go over after Tuesday's big card. Man, only 2 overtimes. Did anyone do what I was suggesting, or at least was, I don't know, gambling with? Did you go over in all the games? Only 2 of them went over, so I don't think it was a probably break-even proposition. You get about 3-1 on those. But so far, looking at the overall trends in the NHL so far this season, the over is Let me get this straight here. Let me see here. I'm sorry. 29, 31 overtime games this season. 31 overtime games. Is that right? 31 overtime games? Is that all? Seems like more. All right, let's go to the ice and start it off with the Edmonton Oilers are on the road taking on the Washington Capitals. Edmonton comes in here 9-8-4 overall. Washington's 9-8-2 here right now. Washington's a team coming off the win last time out versus the Kings. They beat them 2-1 to snap a 2-game losing streak. Meanwhile, for Edmonton, they won over Buffalo or lost to Buffalo 5-1. Washington is 7-5 straight up as a favorite this year. Edmonton is just 1-3 as an underdog so far this season. Seems like a good goaltending matchup here if we get Skinner in there against Thompson here, but a lot of I could hear the Skinner faithful moaning in the background there. Lost my goalies here real quick. Just bear with me on this. For the Skinner here in this one, he comes in with a 7-5-3 record, 2.86 goals against, and an 88.5% save percentage in this one. For Logan Thompson, 7-5-1, 1.85 goals against, 92.5% save percentage coming in. So look, relatively close game between these two teams. As you got, a Edmonton team that they not so great here really on the road overall. Like I said, just 4-7 here right now. But Washington right now just 5-4 at home so far this season. So a little bit of pause actually. Remember how hot Washington was, kind of defying their expectations last year, but right now they are sitting in last in the competitive Metropolitan Division. They are 5-4-1 at home so far this season. Meanwhile, for Edmonton on the road, it hasn't been terrific. They're down 5.5 units already on the road with a 4-7-2 road record overall. I got to take the Capitals here in this one. The Calgary Flames are going to take on the Buffalo Sabres. Calgary on the road here, an underdog, of course. Have struggled most of the season with a 5-12-3 record. Meanwhile, Buffalo comes in here 7-8-4, but they have won 2 straight, beating Edmonton and Detroit. They just knocked off Edmonton at home 5-1 a couple of nights ago. Calgary, meanwhile, has lost 2 straight to Winnipeg and Chicago, although they did own a 2-0 victory over San Jose 3 games back. This one for me, Calgary here. This 2 teams play just twice a year here, but Calgary's had uncanny success when going actually into Buffalo. They've won 6 of the last 7 years here in Buffalo. So Buffalo just 3-8 straight up in their last 11 games overall. They are 6-3 at home this season, 1-4 against the puck line at home this season. Man, think of where we're at in the schedule here right now, and you really haven't seen Buffalo playing necessarily a lot of home games yet. They're currently just 6-3. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, they are 6-3-2. They're at home. Majority of their games at home. I had it backwards there. But I'm going to actually take Calgary, and here is a dog. I'm going to try the Flames here. They've been bad. I get that, but I'm going to look at this as a spot for Calgary against a bad Buffalo team. Calgary's garbage too right now, but I'm going to go ahead and take them here against Buffalo on Wednesday night. The Carolina Hurricanes are on the road taking on the Minnesota Wild. Carolina, one of the better teams in the league for sure, 13-5-1, but they're up against a Minnesota team that's starting to pick up some speed here. They're 9-7-4 overall. They've gone 6-2-2 in their last 10, but Carolina's gone 7-2-1 in their last 10, and Carolina has been good on the road so far this season as one of the top road teams so far in the NHL. Man, they have 13 wins this season, 7-3 on the road, but also as a favorite, they've been terrific. 12-4. They've been favored in all but 3 games, I think, so far this season, talking about the Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina's atop the Metro and coming in here against a Minnesota team right now that is 6-3-3 at home so far this season. Carolina has gone over in 8 of their last 10, but they've gone under in 3 of their last 7. In 7 of their last 10 overall. Carolina's gone under. Minnesota kind of 50-50 with over-unders so far this season. Carolina's lost 6 of their last 9 games against the Wild. 6 of the last 9 meetings between the two teams have gone under. Minnesota's gone under in 5 straight. Carolina's gone under, like I said, on the road here in 7 of 10. I'm going to go under in this one with Carolina and Minnesota. Expecting here Kochetkov in the pipes up against likely here Gustafson, I believe it says here. Yeah, so I think with these 2 goalies, in fact, I'm going to say right now we've already learned that I think it's Wallstedt. Let me change that. Yeah, Jesper Wallstedt is going to get the start here for Minnesota, and he comes in with a 2.1 goals against and a 4-0-2 record so far, 92.5% save percentage. Meanwhile, for Kochetkov, he comes in here 4-0 with a 1.69 goals against and a 92.5% save percentage. So, look, these guys haven't been in the pipes a lot, but man, they're combined 8-0-2 overall, and both guys with the very low goals against so far. I'm going to go ahead and take the under here in this one. And finally, the Boston Bruins take that hot road record here into Anaheim. Boston comes in 12-9, but look at Anaheim at $1.70 here all of a sudden with this 12-6-1 record. Boston's been just fine, it seems, here of late. They're 8-2 overall in their last 10 games coming in, but Anaheim's 6-1 at home so far this season, 3-1 as a favorite. Luke Dostal in for Anaheim, 9-6-1 with a 2.8 goals against. Jeremy Swayman's 8-5 with a 2.99 goals against. Both guys with a 90% save percentage coming in here to this one. So not a bad game here. We know Anaheim definitely looking good, but Boston, I think, is a little bit underrated here at this point, considering their recent run here where they've been pretty hot. Anaheim just 1-3 as a puck line favorite so far, and Boston comes in here 14-4 as a puck line underdog. Still, the price is probably a little bit too dicey to want to really hit it firm on Boston here on the puck line, plus 1.5. They're still minus $1.80 here, so I'm not too interested in that. Anaheim is 3-1 to the over as a favorite. Boston here 12-9 to the over overall. And I think when you look at the overall matchup between the two teams, you got uh, Boston and Anaheim have gone over in 5 of their last 7 and 7 of the last 10 meetings overall. Boston's gone over in 4 of their last 5 on the road. I'm going to take the over in this one with Boston and Anaheim here on Wednesday night. Hey, good to see Timothy Hawk in the chat. He likes the Ducks in regulation. He says the speed on this team, the youth, the momentum that they've really got going here has been really good. And I see Greg in the chat here as well. He had a great day yesterday. Thank you, Greg. Kenny Moe says, give them the Ducks. They seem to be playing with a sense of urgency right now. Man, I can remember when the Ducks actually had a pretty good team. Maybe this will be the year the Ducks kind of get it going. Certainly one of my favorites. All right. All right, that's it for the hockey. We're not done yet, though. I've selected 7 games in college basketball to look at and make some picks on here on Night Moves. And typical Wednesday card here, but we do have a few standout games for sure. A couple of them here, actually, for the action on Wednesday. Let's get to it. Oh, we got some dogs and some cats going at it here with this first one with the Arizona Wildcats coming in here 4-0. So far this season, Connecticut comes in 4-0 so far this season as well. However, Connecticut is just 1-3 against the spread so far this season. Arizona is actually 2-0 against the spread on the road with covers at UCLA and that game against Florida, of course. The two games that they didn't cover, they were 35-point favorites basically, and they didn't get the money in those. So closely rated, good. Big giant spread, not good for Arizona so far this season. For Connecticut, they are 1-3 ATS, as we said, but they did fail against BYU in an 86-84 win as a 6.5-point favorite. They also laid a couple of gigantic spreads against New Haven and Columbia, did not cover, but they did cover a big spread against Lowell. Still, this isn't a big spread, but they're favored by 5.5 here. In this one, Arizona's 1-3 to the under so far this season, although they are 1-0 to the over as a dog. Connecticut is 1-0 to the over here as a let's see, 2-2 overall, but 1-0 in the roll. 1-0 to the over in the game that they were just a 6.5-point favorite in. So the reasonably line games, the ones similar to this, ended up going over. So I think that's what I'm going to do actually is go over in this one with Arizona and Connecticut here on Wednesday night. Give me the over between these two. And this should be obviously a pretty good one here on Wednesday night, but I got to go over with Arizona and Connecticut at 158.5. Just checking to see if that's still the line here. Yeah, in fact, it's gone down maybe just a little bit, but I'm going to go over in this one on Wednesday. All right. right, next up, the Youngstown Penguins are going to go up against the Toledo Rockets here in this one. Selected this one out. Looks like a pretty interesting game. Thought we'd take a look at this one between Youngstown and Toledo here. Good battle in Ohio for the action here on Wednesday night. And for Youngstown here, they're coming in with a record of 2-2 overall. Toledo also 2-2. Toledo's won their last couple of games here, beaten Detroit 90-83. They also beat Wright 81-71. They've covered the last two, or they covered against Wright. They didn't cover against Detroit. They failed against Marshall. They lost to Marshall. They also lost to South Alabama. They're 0-3 against the spread at home. Meanwhile, for the Penguins here, the Penguins come in with wins over Grand Canyon. They beat Grand Canyon 90-81. They lost to Bonaventure 84-80. They lost to Pitt 74-59, and they lost to Bobby Morris 89, or no, that was it. They lost to Pitt. Oh, they had one non-Division I game. That's what it was. And it was against Penn State Shenango. They beat Penn State Shenango by 62 points. So lost the opener to Pittsburgh and lost last out to Bonaventure. All right. Meanwhile, Toledo is 1-3 to the under so far this season, but the Penguins are 2-1 to the over so far this season. Youngstown has gone over in 11 of their last 15 games dating back to last season. 5 straight meetings between these two teams have gone over, and Toledo has gone over in 7 of their last 10 dating back to last season. Youngstown 5-7 to the over dating back to last season. I'm going to go with the over in this one at 161 between Youngstown and Toledo. I'm going to take the over in this one. Wyoming is going to take on Sam Houston, that is, here, and Sam Houston's going to be a favorite in this one over Wyoming by 2.5. The total here is 160. Wyoming comes in here in this one with a record of 4-0. Right now, Sam Houston just 1-2. Wyoming did play a non-Division I opponent in that group of 4 games so far. Wyoming has played Northern State as they opened the season with a win. Then they played Fullerton at home. They played P at home. They played Portland at home. They've covered the last 2. They didn't cover against Fullerton. It almost seems like they've kind of ramped up their season here a little bit and are kind of hitting a good stride. But meanwhile, Sam Houston, they come in with a poor record, of course, here. Like I said, at 1-2 so far this season. Their only win was against Litorno, and it wasn't Mary Kay, as they won 95-59. They played Texas Tech and lost. They played Utah and lost, and covered both of those games. However, they were getting 31.5 against Tech and covered. They were getting 12.5 against Utah and covered here. I'm going to take Sam Houston in this one, laying 2.5. They're basically 2-0 against the spread, playing a pretty tough schedule here so far. Maybe nothing wrong here with Wyoming. They are 1-2 to the under so far this season. Meanwhile, Sam is 2-0 to the over so far this season. I'm going to take Sam Houston here, minus 2.5 at home against Wyoming. I think I trust Sam more in this spot. Wyoming hasn't played a road game yet, and they did close the season with 5 straight road losses last season. Sam's gone over in 11 of their last 13 games at home dating back to last season. Sam is 0-6 straight up their last 6 against the Mountain West, but I'm going to go ahead and take Sam here. Wyoming's 3-7 ATS dating back to last season. Give me Sam Houston here on Wednesday. The Dayton Flyers going to take on the Marquette Warriors, and Marquette's favored in this one by 5.5. The total 153 here. Dayton comes in off of a win over Bethune-Cookman, 91-82. They did not cover, laying 21.5. They also lost before that, 74-62 to Cincinnati. They were getting 6.5. They do have wins over Canisius. They covered 25.5, and they also beat UMBC 77-71. But right now, Dayton 1-3 against the spread coming in for Marquette. They're in off of an 89-82 loss at home against Maryland, laying 6.5. They did rout Little Rock by 40 points as a 21.5 point favorite. They lost to the Hoosiers by 23 as just a 2.5 point dog, and they beat Southern by 18 as a 24.5 point favorite. So they've been up and down for sure, have the Warriors. These two teams met last year, and Dayton won 71-63. In that one, it was at Dayton, and they covered 1 point. Marquette's 2-3 ATS so far this season. Dayton's 1-3 to the under, including 0-1 to the under on the road. Meanwhile, for Marquette, they come in here 3-2 to the over. Pretty high number here, but so far we've seen Marquette play some relatively high-scoring games. As I said, they allowed 89 to Maryland, 100 to Indiana, and they even allowed 82 points to Southern in a 100-82 win here for Marquette. So this one's tough here right now, but I think I'm going to favor the over here in this game. I'm going to take over with Dayton and Marquette here on Wednesday. The South Florida Bulls are on the road, taking on the Oklahoma State Cowboys. College basketball action here on Wednesday. For the Bulls, they come in here with a 3-1 record overall, back-to-back wins here over Kennesaw. They won by 19 as a 7.5 point favorite. They also routed Coppin by 50 as a 34.5 point favorite. Now, they did lose at GW 99-95 as a 1.5 point road favorite. And they also routed Florida A&M by 35 as a 26.5 point favorite. So not a bad start here, really, for South Florida with 3-1 against the straight up and against the spread. Meanwhile, for Oklahoma State, they come in here 4-0 so far this season, but they've failed to cover in each of their last two games. They did not cover against Corpus Christi. They did not cover against Prairie View. Both of those games, they were laying significant points. Meanwhile, they did beat Texas A&M 87-63, easily covering as they were a dog in that one. And they covered against Oral 95-71 as a 20.5 point favorite, but they are just 2-2 ATS so far. USF is 3-1 to the over, including 2-0 to the over on the road, but Oklahoma State's 1-3 to the under so far this season. Oklahoma State's gone under in 16 of their last 19 games when playing teams from the American Conference, but it feels like if South Florida kind of dictates this one, we'll see if they do. South Florida's actually gone under in 7 of their last 10 dating back to last season, but so far they've been the over team here. South Florida, 2-7 straight up. Their last 9 on the road, dating back to last season. Oklahoma State actually 8-1 straight up at home, dating back to last season in their last 9. All right, I've got the over. I'm going to take another over in this one at 181. I think that's what dictates here. Just look at that total, and you can see where this one's headed. The trends, I'd maybe say under, except for South Florida's big numbers here. Like I said, they scored 108 against Kennesaw. They scored 100 against Coppin, 102 against Florida A&M, 95 against GW. They're playing with a very, very fast pace so far this season. I'm going to go with the over in this one. Now the UC Irvine Anteaters here coming in, taking on Utah Valley, and UCI comes in 3-1. Utah Valley 2-2 coming into this one. For Irvine here, they've won 2 straight. They beat Weber 79-70, did not cover. They also won a non-Division I game against Lincoln of California. They lost to Cal Baptist 65-61. So UCI is 3-1 straight up, but 0-2 against the spread. Meanwhile, Utah Valley, they are 2-2 so far this season, 2-0 straight up at home, but they're 0-2 against the spread overall as well, including 0-1 against the spread as a favorite here for Utah Valley. They come in as a 2-point favorite here in this matchup. All right, make my call here in this one between Cal Irvine and Utah Valley here on Wednesday night. Irvine 0-2 to the under so far this season. Meanwhile, Utah Valley 0-1 to the under as a favorite in that role. And I think that's probably where I'm headed here. Give me the under here in this one with Irvine and Utah Valley. I'll take the under in this one. And finally tonight, another good one here. Look at this. Alabama Crimson Tide taking on the Illinois Fighting Illini in this one. And Illinois comes in with a 4-0 record so far this season. They've looked outstanding. Now, they did not cover last time out against Colorado, 84-65. They won by 19 as a 31-point Colgate against Colgate, excuse me. Can't read my own writing here. 31-point favorite. They won by 19, so they didn't get the money in that one, but they got the money against a good Texas Tech team, winning 81-77 at home. They also beat Gulf Coast, covered 28.5, and they also covered 28.5 against Jackson State. So 4-0, 3-1 against the spread, and they won their closely rated game that was the exact same spread as this against Texas Tech. Meanwhile, Alabama comes in here off of a loss to that good Purdue team, 80-67. They were actually favored in that game, but I think we know now that Purdue is the team that's more for real at this point. They did rout St. John's 103-96. I say rout them; they upset them 103-96. So Alabama still just 1-2 against the spread. They failed against North Dakota in a 29-point win, but they were laying 35, and they, of course, lost to Duke in another tough game. So they are just 1-2 against the spread, 2-1 straight up, but they are 1-0 against the spread on the road. Alabama's 1-2 to the under so far this season, although 1-0 to the over on the road. These two teams did meet last season. It was 100-87. Alabama won the game at home as an 8.5-point favorite. Here they're a 3.5-point dog. 183 is certainly a big number, but I would think right now you have a good chance of going over here. I'm going to take the over in this one. We've seen some big point totals from Alabama so far, and back scoring that 103 points against St. John's, 91 against North Dakota. They allowed 87 to Purdue. Meanwhile, Illinois did get 113 points against both Jackson State and Gulf Coast. I know it's a little different quality of opposition here, but this game being played at the United Center, I'm going to go over in this one between Alabama and Illinois. Sometimes, people like to not play, overs when the teams are meeting in a, neutral venue or a larger arena. A little bit different from when you're playing at home at Illinois compared to playing in the United Center, but not like the United Center is one of those big. I think a lot of times they compare them to those, football stadiums with a deep backdrop that makes it so tough. But the United Center is kind of a basketball, a sports arena, if you will. I'm going to go over in this one. All right, that's going to do it for Night Moves, everybody. I wish I had doled up some more college basketball. We got 7 dozen of you in here right now, so it's really great to have you all joining me here for the show. And I'll be back tomorrow to go over more games here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel. Make sure you join Tony and the crew tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 a.m. Pacific. You get you started with the Tony's Picks morning show. I have a group of cappers going over the games here for Wednesday. Don't forget to join Rod with the happy hour at 5 p.m. Eastern and 2 Pacific as well. We'll get you ready also tomorrow here on Night Moves for a little Thursday night NFL. We know we got the Texans and the Bills to kick off our NFL football weekend and our big football weekend as well, with some great college games here as well this weekend. We'll also have NBA, NHL, college basketball on Thursday, so make sure you join me here on Night Moves. I really appreciate all of you stopping in and hearing what I have to say about the card here on Wednesday. All right, that's going to do it for the Tony's Picks YouTube channel. I'm Ramon Scott. So long from Night Moves.